Hey guys, it's Ray, and we are streaming blacksmithing. So that noise that you were just hearing was my air compressor. I was kind of testing the new bottle jack because we have it nice and installed. It is a lot slower than my old one. It's actually quicker to use the pneumatic, or I mean not the pneumatic, the hydraulics than it is to use the air compressor. So that might be an issue. So we will do our best and see what we can do with this. I'll show it off a little bit later. So yeah, we have our new bottle jack. It's installed into our press, and I'm really happy about that. I do have a video that I made of our unboxing, and that should go up either later today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. And so I'm pretty excited to post that. It does seem to be working, but like I said, it's a little on the slow side. So I don't know. We'll see if I can't make it speed up a little bit. Looks like I got an ad in progress, so we will wait for that guy. So today is going to be a little bit louder, especially if we're using the press. And I think you guys should be able to hear me speaking through the mic, but you probably won't be able to hear me from the anvil cam. I was unable to get a new, I was unable to get another adapter to test the lav mic, so I'm unfortunately still stuck with the switching sound problem, and I will get into that in a little bit as to why, but I'm still working on it. It's just something that we haven't been able to get done yet, and I very much apologize for that. I am running a little bit on the later side, so there's still a few things that I might have to do to kind of like set up for our stream today. And yeah, so let us see. Our ad is over now, so that's exciting. Welcome in, everyone. I'm so happy that you're here with me today. Like I said, I have a unboxing video for our new bottle jack, and that will be up in probably tomorrow. There's like another shot that I want to put into it, and from there I will be able to post that, and that'll be this week's long form video, aside from obviously the VODs. So thank you for joining me today. I'm very happy to be back. On Friday, we had some technical difficulties. I ended up having to end the stream in about half an hour through it. And the reason for that was we had a storm rolling in, and the wind was just whipping and howling all over the place. And it was making the internet a little bit unstable. My internet is supplied by the cable company, and so some of their above ground cables, kind of when they shake around a little bit, they kind of lose a little bit of signal. So I had enough internet to do things online, but I did not have quite enough to do the stream. You need a really good, really strong signal to stream. And unfortunately, I did not have that. So we are back. Once we were safe from the storm, we did lose power at about 9:30 p.m. and it did not return until sometime in the middle of the night. When I woke up the next morning, we had power again, and that was exciting because we were sitting in the dark for about 2.5 hours while the storm whipped around our house. There was hail. There was a tornado very close to us. We got out pretty safe. We did lose a tree, but it was nowhere near any of our buildings. So that was excellent. We did also flood, or the basement did flood, so that is why I was unable to get the sound solution down. We didn't have a chance to get to Micro Center to get the adapter because we had to squeegee all of the water out of the basement, unfortunately. So yeah, that was an ordeal. So we are back. Like I said, I got the bottle jack installed. So we should be good to go. And today we are finally going to start our new tong project. So what I have here are two 8-inch lengths of 5/8 square stock steel. And these are going to be the two sides of our tongs. So we are going to be making a set of tongs very similar to this in design. These are a set of bolt tongs. They are specifically sized for 5/8-inch steel. So if I put this piece in here and I close it, it's like really, really strong, you know, and it's not wobbly or anything. It's a really good set of tongs for holding that 5/8-inch stock. However, once I start drawing it down, if I were to put it back in here on the skinny side, I wouldn't be able to hang on to it very securely. So I have a set of universal tongs, which are these guys right here. And my set of universal tongs, it's really old. It's probably one of the first things that I made, and they're really wobbly. They don't work very well. So yeah, we are going to remake our set of universal tongs. So welcome in, everybody. I'm so happy to see you all. Hello, Dark. Welcome in. So let's see. I still have a little bit of styrofoam all over the place from the unboxing of the piece over there. So that'll be floating around a little bit, but it's all right. We're all right. All right. Let's see. What do I got going? I do have a water, but I think this is kind of an old one. It's all right. Nice and cold. So on Friday, we kind of missed our Frederick's Cross, our Frederick's Cross project. I will be filming that one for YouTube. I probably won't get a chance to stream it until after we finish our tong project. So that's going to be kind of the order. We're going to do the tongs first, and then we're going to go back to the Frederick's Cross. Let's see. So without further ado, I suppose it's time to light the forge. All right. I kind of buried all my stuff around here, trying to get all of the air compressor components together. There we are. Okay. Let's see. So I am going to set this guy over here, and we're going to put this guy in the forge and heat him up. We're kind of going to work on these one side at a time, but we're going to kind of alternate which side that we're working on at any given time. This will give me time to kind of talk to you guys and socialize. But we'll be able to flip the two pieces and kind of work at them in organic fashion, but one at a time. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Is it St. Patrick's Day today? I thought it was last weekend. Maybe it is St. Patrick's Day. I'm really, really bad at holidays. So if it is St. Patrick's Day, happy St. Patrick's Day. I guess you guys will have to pinch me because I'm not wearing any green. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. I should probably put my apron on because now that I've got the flame on, I want to make sure that I'm saving my clothes a bit. So give me just 1 second. So I am very happy to be back here. I was really disappointed that I wasn't able to stream on Friday. I wanted to stream on Saturday, but with all of the storm cleanup, and then my partner also had a freelance gig that he had to complete. He had taken all of my equipment, so by the time he got back, I was in the middle of like squeegeeing out all of the water, so I still wasn't able to stream, and I apologize for that. And we will definitely get that Friedrich's Cross project on stream soon. Today is your birthday, Dan. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! I'm so excited. Should I sing to you? I'll sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dan. Happy birthday to you. So, yes, congratulations. Maybe I'll have to mute that for when I put it on YouTube because the happy birthday song is actually copyright to Paramount Pictures. So I don't want to get copyright struck. So we'll see if it happens. I doubt it, but you never know. But yes, we are about ready to start those tongs. Like I said, this new press is a lot slower than my previous press. My previous press was on the slow side, but this one's really bad. So I don't know if maybe I need to increase the air pressure in the air compressor. We'll see if I can kind of adjust that at all. Really? Paramount has a copyright on that? I didn't know. It does. It's so weird. But yeah, Paramount has a copyright on the happy birthday song. That's why so many pop culture things, when they do birthdays, they sing like random songs like, you know, happy birthday, you know, all that kind of stuff, because they can't actually use it since it's copyright to Paramount. So, okay. Let's see. We are waiting a little bit longer for our steel to warm up. But yeah, this weekend has been so hectic. How about you guys? Did you guys actually get the storm? I feel like there was like tornadoes from like the Canadian border all the way down to like Texas and the Mexican border. So it was that was a nasty storm. I hope you guys all got through it well. Because I mean, storms are, you know, the damage that they can cause, it can be devastating. There were some houses and businesses near me that did get a lot more damage. Like the building that my partner's freelance gig was at, the storm actually knocked their air conditioner off of their roof. So they had originally scheduled to do some drone footage over the building, but they canceled that because they didn't want, you know, the gaping hole in their drone footage. So he'll probably have to go back and do a little bit more footage for them at a later date. But yeah, how did you guys handle it? Lots of rain and heavy wind, no damage. Ohio. And Dark was at work and went through 2 snowstorms. Man, we got a little bit of a dusting yesterday. I was really surprised because like it was in the 80s here on Friday, and then by Sunday there was like snow, and it was insane. And right now it's kind of in the mid 60s, I would say. it's not too bad. I don't have to have my big overcoat, so I'm down to the sweatshirt. I'll probably stay in the sweatshirt for a while because it's a little bit nippy, and I don't think that I will strip down to just the t-shirt today, because it is just a little bit cold, and I don't think the forge is going to be quite hot enough. So yeah. Let us see. We're getting close on that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the anvil camera, the camera that's normally on the anvil, so this right here, and I'm actually gonna move him so that we can see the press. So you might see me moving around a little bit. But I want to make sure that you guys get a really nice view of it. And then I've got this guy is probably, I want him probably over here maybe. I don't want it in shot though. That's my big thing. Maybe I can put it in this hole. Will it fit in this hole? Of course it won't. All right, well, we'll put it right there. Whoa, dropping things all over the place, guys. Dropping things all over the place. The weather here is absolutely nuts. Morning is like autumn, afternoon is spring, and evening night is like regular winter. Oh, it's kind of like that around here too. I live in like southern Illinois and eastern Missouri area, and we can get like such heavy fluctuations. Like there's been days where it's been like 70 or 80 degrees during the day, and then by the nighttime it's like freezing, and that is just incredible and kind of insane, and it really messes with my health a lot. So I tend not to like it when it happens, but unfortunately it does happen occasionally. All right, so if I do this, what do you guys think? Is that a good enough view for you guys? Do you guys like that view? Is it in focus and everything? It looked like it was in focus to me. I think it's all right. Looks good, I suppose. All right. So like I said, unfortunately, I have not been able to change the sound situation. So what's going to happen is I am going to do most of my speaking from the wide camera, because I'm not entirely sure that you guys are going to be able to hear me through the close-up camera. So I'm probably going to try and be a little bit on the quieter side while I'm actively using the press, and then I'll explain what we did using the wide camera. That way I have, you know, good sound for you guys, and you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. Awesome. Okay. It looks like we have plenty of heat. And I think the next thing that I'm going to do is see if I can't get a little bit of a higher pressure on this guy. Okay. I think that's about all I can get. We'll see. Let's see. Hopefully it'll work for us. Hopefully it'll work for us. Awesome. Focus is good. I'm really glad. All right. Thank you guys for letting me know. I'm going to tell you guys what you're about to see really fast. And then I'm going to show it to you. And then we're going to go back and I'll repeat it in case I didn't say it really well, if that makes sense. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to start drawing out the reins of our tongs. So that is this section right here. We're going to start on the first half. So there's 2 halves. We have to make 2 identical pieces. And so we're going to do some tapering on the press. And I have a combination die on my press right now. So one side of it is flat. So it's like a very flat sandwich. So that's going to give me a lot of a lot of pressure, but it's also going to flatten everything down. And then I also have some curved dies. And so those are like little humps. And when they go together, it's like having the horn of the anvil, like 2 of them crushing the material. So you'll get like little swoops. And what I feel like, or what I think that they look like is crinkle cut fries, like French fries. So that might be like an American thing. So maybe our European friends might not understand what crinkle cut fries are. But it's kind of like a wavy look. So we're going to use those round-sided dies to create that crinkle cut on both the top and the sides. And that's going to help us draw out the material. And I got a bot. Icky bots. Let us go and get rid of them real fast. And we are going to It is being weird. Why isn't it letting me ban? There we go. That works. Let's see if I can't make that go away. All right, cool. All right, we're good to go on that. Okay, so now that that is taken care of, I am going to flip to the close-up camera, and we're gonna get started and see if we can't do a little bit of blacksmithing. movement. Hopefully the sound isn't too bad. The air compressor needs to keep charging. It's kind of a smaller tank. I don't have a double, a two-phase air compressor, so it has to recharge between heats. So I hope the sound isn't too bad. It usually isn't as bad as I think it is, because I've got the noise suppression on the lav mic. So it looked like we were getting actually a decent amount of pressing, even though it felt a little bit on the slower side. So I think we might have some issues when we're getting a little bit on the smaller side, but we'll kind of come to that or we'll get there when we get there, I guess. It's loud but manageable. Okay. Let me... All right, so now a lot of that sound should be gone now. But yeah, the press is going to be a lot louder than normal, if that makes sense, than our normal sound. The forge is also a little bit loud, but nothing compared to the press. So what we did was we put those initial few marks into the steel, and we ended up with that crinkle cut French fry looking piece of steel. So all of those raised bumps, we're going to pay specific attention to them. We want to press those the high spots down on our next heat on that side, and that's what's going to draw the piece out and make it a lot longer. So for our next heat, we are going to turn it 90 degrees and work on the side. So we're going to continue alternating the top and the side, and kind of spinning it in all four sides to kind of draw that out. Excellent morning. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, like I said, it's a little bit slower, but I think we're managing. Yeah. So we'll see how fast we can do this today. I don't really have a amount of time that I think this is going to take us. So I'm kind of taking it as it comes, and we'll see how long this project takes. Our last set of tongs took about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I think, because we missed a few days. So hopefully we can cut that down to actually 2 weeks. But we'll see if that works, if that happens. In theory, the press should take a lot less effort to draw down the piece, and it should also take a lot less time. So hopefully that functions correctly. All right, our piece is all nice and hot. So I'm gonna hit record on this, and we're gonna get a second heat. I missed our first heat, unfortunately, but that's all right. We will get the first heat of the next one. accidentally bumped into my ads. So I apologize to those of you who are not Turbo members, and I will say that again when my ads are done. Okay, and we are back from ads. I forgot to start recording this, so I'm going to record a little bit. Let's see. If you were saying anything, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that, guys. I ran into my ad time, and normally I'm a lot better about making sure that I time my heats with my ads. Unfortunately, I did not do that this time, and I definitely apologize for doing that. Okay, so we are continuing to draw out our reins. We are using the press to taper the reins. And so we've gotten two sides so far. We got the top and then we got the side, and we're creating crinkle cut French fries, basically. And we're going to focus for our next heat on crushing down the bumps that are forming on our piece to kind of make sure that all of that extra area will be drawn out further. I saw your point, or you point your finger and that was it. Yeah, I pointed my finger so that you guys could kind of see what I'm looking at. I didn't actually say anything because I don't think you guys will be able to hear me when I'm on the press camera, because it's just so loud. So I'm gonna try to spend the time between heats speaking and explaining what we do. So like I said, we are using the press, the round dies on the press, to crush the material between them, and instead of using our hammer, so it's a 20 tons of force is smashing down that material on the round-sided dies and creating raised bumps. And on our next heat, we're going to crush those raised bumps, and that is actually going to draw out the material a lot longer, a lot quicker. So we are cutting out the amount of effort and stamina that it takes to blacksmith or to draw out these reins by using the press instead of our hammer. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't really. There's just no good sound coming from that camera. It's just so loud. So I apologize for that. Is it uncomfortably loud when I'm on that second camera with the microphone? I know you wouldn't be, or you probably wouldn't be able to hear me, but is it uncomfortable for you guys to hear at all? Because I can probably see about maybe turning down the volume on that camera, so, or like specifically, that way you won't have to hear quite as loud of the press noises. So let me know if it is uncomfortably loud. I'm used to that sound. Okay. Well, that's good. If anybody else finds it too loud, let me know and I can still turn it down. But yeah. So right now, like I said, we are using, or we are starting to draw out the first side of these tongs, and this is our second piece of tongs. And like I said, this is a 8-inch section of 5/8 inch stock. And I have two of these guys. One of them is currently in the forge, and I've got this guy. We are trying to make two identical halves of this piece. And they are going to be a set of universal tongs so that I can pick up any piece of steel and not just specific sized steel. So when I start drawing things down, it's going to be a lot easier to pick them up out of the forge, and maybe I won't complain as much. That is the goal anyway. So this guy is a little bit too slow, I think. I think there is something to be said for a little bit in hoping that it's a little, or I can make it a little bit faster. And my first instinct is actually to maybe take one of the sets of springs off of here, because the extra amount of pressure might be slowing it down from going, or from the speed that it's going down. So I might actually try that. So let's see, can I do that without risking pinching my hands? Let's see. I've got a screwdriver, and I'm going to kind of try and see about moving this downward. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that myself. These are really springy springs. They're like really heavy. So I had to actually get my my partner to help me put the press in. So maybe I'll see about having him maybe take one set of the springs out this afternoon once he gets home. Hopefully it'll speed it up a little bit. Alrighty. Let's see. We have plenty of heat there. We've got plenty of time there. I am going to shift to this other side over here, the other camera. Getting a pretty decent amount of movement I'm actually a little bit on the surprise side, really. I thought that because it was so slow, we wouldn't get quite as much movement, but we've actually been able to move our material relatively easily. And I didn't get that on film, but that's all right. I will turn that one on for the next heat. So yeah, I'm actually pretty excited. It is a little bit slow and a little bit the release valve is a little bit sticky. So I'm gonna have to get used to it, but this is a new piece of equipment, and we're kind of using this project as a test run for it. But it seems to be working all right. So I kind of feel like we're getting about an equal amount of force and draw every heat from the press as we would get from the hammer. So I don't know that I'm going to get any extra time by using the press, but it is definitely saving me a lot of stamina. I'm not getting nearly as tired because I'm having to hand hammer everything. So if you have a bum shoulder or elbow or whatever, a press might be an option for you. They can be relatively cheap. You can actually purchase one from Harbor Freight relatively cheap. I think I paid $300 for the frame, and it did come with a it came with a hydraulic jack, and what I did was I replaced that hydraulic jack with a pneumatic jack, and they fit exactly the same. There was also like a little round stock plunger that was attached to the bottom bar, and I had to cut that off, and I had to create my own set of dies for it. So I used tool steel, and I created a set of combination dies, and I welded a plate that I could change those dies on. So I have a couple different sets of dies that I could use if I wanted to. So it's a very convenient tool, but it's kind of an advanced tool. And it can be a little bit on the dangerous side. It is a 20-ton press. So if I were to stick my hand in there, that would crush my bones pretty easily. So it's something that you need to be, aware of and have a healthy respect for. Safety is very important. It is also incredibly loud. That's why I have my headphones on. All right, so we're gonna do another heat. And first of all, I'm gonna start recording this one. to stick this piece in the fire, but I think what we're actually going to do is we are going to compare the size of the two of them. So we've actually grown about an inch in those 3 heats that we've done. So that's it's a pretty decent amount of growth in that short of time. So I'm really happy with that. I was a little bit nervous that I wasn't going to get as much growth because it was so slow. So for that last heat, I was focusing on the raised sections of the piece of steel, squishing those raised sections to kind of push that material out. After a few more heats, what we're going to do is we're going to move from the round dies to the flat dies. And then that's really going to put a lot of pressure on those high spots, and it's going to move a lot faster. So I'm really looking forward to looking at this VOD and kind of seeing how the sound is with the press and the air compressor going. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to taking a look at that. I will definitely upload all of our footage and take a look at it as soon as I can at the end of the stream. So, like I said, we are focusing on the raised sections of our piece of steel, and that is going to put more pressure and move more material faster. So we've grown about an inch from where we started, and that's really exciting. And it's only been about 3 heats, so you know we're getting a decent amount of progress. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm hoping that we will have finished drawing out our reins within the amount of time that we're streaming today, so that on Wednesday we can start our second side. We'll start our second reins, and I'll get some really good material out of that. So yeah. So aside from the storm, how have you guys been and like, what did you guys do this weekend? I mean, there's, you know, a lot of places in the United States and even in Europe where the weather was a lot nicer than it was around here this weekend. Did any of you go and do anything fun? I know the Northern Hemisphere is starting to get towards spring. It would have been really, really nice to go out and take a walk, but with the storm on Friday, things were a little bit messy, and it just didn't work out. It wasn't in the cards for this weekend. So yeah, what did you guys do this weekend? Anything fun? I'm going to clip my footage on my wide camera. I've been recording like all of it, and it's starting to get a little bit long. So I'm gonna restart recording a little bit. I think. Hopefully, it'll make it transfer a little bit faster. Dark doesn't do fun. Why don't you do fun? I mean, life is too, precious not to do at least a little fun thing when you have the occasion to do so. Fourth fiddle. We stayed in because of the rain and caught up on sleep. Ooh, That sounds like fun. And in the rain is like a really good time to catch up on your sleep because you got that nice pitter patter. It's almost like white noise, like a fan. And that makes it, sometimes it makes it easier to sleep having that white noise. So, I mean, that and being all nice and cozy and warm under the blankets, that can be a lot of fun. Polar in, fun is not allowed. Fun should be allowed, man. Fun should be allowed. I always tell people, if you can't have fun, make fun. And I think that is, you know, one of those things that kind of lightens up the mood a little bit around my, you know, some of the more dull things that I have to do every week. When I worked in retail, you know, it wasn't always fun doing all of the cleanup work that I had to do. And so we just would find things that were fun to do and we'd make fun. Sometimes we were making fun of people and things, and sometimes we were just, you know, finding fun things to do or like games to play and stuff. So I think it works in both ways. Yep. I feel like I learned a lot of really good things working in retail. I mean, it's not the best or the funnest or the most glamorous job in the world, but I mean, there's so much you can learn from working a retail position. It also makes me so appreciative and grateful that I am able to, you know, spend time out in the shop and make this, you know, my full-time gig at the moment. So yeah. I bet you learned how to not be a jerk when talking to someone who is at work. I mean, yes, that is a skill that I would have to learn. There are a lot of people that can be, we'll say, difficult in retail. And because, I mean, you never know what somebody is going through, and they come in and it's just like, things in the retail, or, you know, things you don't find what you want in the store, or like things that you purchased didn't work, and so it's a frustration on top of another frustration, and it's kind of a skill that you have to learn so that you can validate people's concerns and de-escalate their, you know, the problem, and make it seem a little bit smaller than it is. At least that's what I always tried to do. I always tried to make it, or like when frustrated people came to me, I tried to make their day just a little bit better. And I know that sometimes that's difficult to do, because some people they just don't want to cheer up. But, you know, sometimes just listening to people will improve their day just minutely, and that was always my goal. Sorry, I meant while they were at work, and you are in their place of work, but that too. Giving people grace is so important. It definitely is. I mean, you never know what someone has been going through before they step foot through your door. And I mean, giving them grace and validating their feelings, it can improve someone's day, and it can make even your day even better. There were so many times where people were very frustrated. A lot of times I worked in food service, and hungry people are sometimes not pleasant to deal with. But I mean, just a little bit of a pleasant interaction and some food in their bellies, and they left my place of employment so much happier. All right, let's do another heat. All right, we'll turn on this. Start recording. hammer and tong. I strive to never be wrong. Welcome in, Artley. I used to like to work with people, but it turned me on, or it turned on me way too many times. Guess that's why I like my current work. That makes sense, Dark. You are serving people by driving the trains, but I don't feel like you have to like directly interact with the people as much. So that's probably a pretty good job for you. So yeah. Did I miss something? What did I miss? I missed a thing. I see something. Corporal Tuttle, thank you so much for the sub. New Jack Hype, yes. New Jack Bottle Jack. Thank you so much for the sub. It is amazing. It's actually, so when I started playing with it, I was a little bit concerned because I felt like it was a little bit slower. But now that I've played with it for a few heats, I've probably got 3 or 4 heats in it. I almost feel like it's starting to speed up a little bit. Maybe like that hydraulic and the fluid in it is kind of like working its way through the system. It's starting to get a little bit faster, and it's also not struggling nearly as much as my previous bottle jack was. It often struggled at when the piece started getting colder. It just like, it wasn't, you know, it worked really, really hard. And this guy, it feels like it's just going up and down and up, and it's not even flinching. So I'm really excited with this guy. It's such a higher quality than the previous bottle jack that I used. So I'm so happy for that. And it looks like I've got an ad. You're welcome. Excellent. I'm so happy. My water's running low already because I was a little bit on the, I spent too much time setting up the stream today, and the water part slipped my mind. So I might actually go into the kitchen real fast and while this commercial is going, and I'm gonna grab a soda because I don't want to spend enough time to fill my water, but I'm gonna grab something else to drink real fast. Or there's none in here. One of these days. That'll work. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Gotta get something to drink. Anything to drink. Water's better, but soda is all right. All right. Gotta have something to kind of wet my throat a little bit because I talk a lot. What you got? I got a Mountain Dew because I just wanted something really quick. I don't like leaving the forge alone for too long, and my water purifier kind of takes a little bit of extra time. So I just went and grabbed a soda from the fridge and came back out. So we're good to go now. Yes, it is Mountain Dew, which is probably not amazingly like something that you get in Europe. There's like, what is it, yellow, one of those weird artificial colors that's banned in the EU. It's like yellow 5 or something like that. It's really bad for you, but I mean, everything has artificial colors in it in the United States, so there isn't really anything I can do about it, unfortunately. Guess by the color of the bottle, yeah. I'm not trying to advertise or anything, so. We have it here too. I love Mountain Dew. It's probably my favorite soda, although I do love Coca-Cola, but it has been so expensive recently, and yeah, I just haven't been able to, I haven't been able to buy it recently. I prefer Sprite or 7-Up. I like the lemon taste. Yeah. We don't actually have, I used to do Sierra Mist all the time, which is the Pepsi version of Sprite, and they kind of stopped making it. Now they do something called, what is it? What is it? Like Daylight or something? I don't like it nearly as much. I feel like there's too much lime and not enough lemon. It's kind of like lime and orange or something. It's weird. But yeah. Okay. Are you guys ready for another heat? Now that the ad is over, let's do this. I stole Dirty's line. Okay. So if we compare the sizes again, I mean, we've gotten a pretty decent amount of movement in those last two heats. Just those last two heats. Pretty excited. Yeah, lime and orange don't really cut it for me. Or river tonic is fine. If your life is bitter, let your drink match it. Guess my career in advertising would be short-lived. So my partner actually works as a commercial producer for our local TV news station. And so he has to write commercials and like make them, like video them and shoot them and everything. So he gets to, or I get to hear jingles all the time for different companies. All right, I'm gonna turn this one off for a second, refresh that clip, and we'll turn that back on soon. So we have been focusing on the raised sections of the piece of steel, turning that crinkle cut and like into a much longer crinkle cut fry. So I think for our next heat, what we're going to do is we're actually going to use the flat side of my dies. I've got those lovely combination dies, and we've been focusing heavily on using the round dies. So for our next heat, what we're going to do is we're going to do the top side and the sides, and we're going to use the flat dies to kind of increase that amount of pressure on the high sections and flatten everything out. We will also bring the piece over to the anvil face to kind of flatten it out. The dies, when I built this, the dies for this press, they weren't exactly even. So when they come together, they're kind of offset a little bit, and so that actually curves your material as you run it through the press. And so every once in a while, I have to bring the steel to the anvil face to kind of straighten it out, to make sure that we keep getting a nice flat length of steel. So that's going to be our next couple heats. I still have a little bit of water in here, and I want to make sure that I finish drinking all the water. Once I get back in the house, I'm gonna fill this guy back up and drink a whole one of these. Gotta make sure that I drink enough water to keep my kidneys from shriveling up and dying. When I was first starting blacksmithing, I did not drink nearly enough water when I would come out here in the middle of the summer. And one year I got kidney stones, and oh boy, that was like one of the most painful times of my life, was passing those kidney stones. It was awful. It was to the point where I went to the emergency room and they gave me like narcotics for the pain, and I never want to have that happen again. And they say once you get kidney stones one time, you can continue to get them. And so you need to make sure that you hydrate. So that's why I'm always drinking water, to make sure that I don't get any kidney stones. We are empty now. Okay, how are we doing with the ads? We got about 18 minutes. You learn the hard way why it's important to hydrate. Yes. Hi, Ray. Hi, chat. Hi, Mahalo. Welcome in. Thank you so much for your contribution. We now have the press. It's inside of the press, inside of the frame of the press, and we have actually been using it today. At first, it was running a little bit on the slow side, but I think the hydraulic fluid has kind of been sucking up in all the right places, and we're starting to get a little bit more speed, and it is so much more, it's so much nicer, and it doesn't have to struggle nearly as much as my old one did. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much for your donation. I did film an unboxing, and I will be posting that tomorrow. There's like one more shot that I want to get. One of them, or I want to get at least one heat from using the press, and then I want to like get one other shot for a nice cover for the video, and I will be posting that on YouTube tomorrow. So thank you so much for your contribution. It has been used well, I hope. Nice, I'm glad it's working. It is working, it's working. I'm so excited. All right, so we are going to use the flat dies. Hi, Ping, greetings, I'm here too. It's my birthday, so I'm being semi-irresponsible today. Ping, it's your birthday too? It's Blacksmith Dan's birthday. I sang him happy birthday. Do I need to sing happy birthday again? I totally am gonna have to mute like all of my sound because I'm gonna get copyright dinged for singing happy birthday, because it is It's copywritten to Paramount, but oh well. I've done it once this stream. Let's do it again. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Ping. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Congratulations. Happy birthday, you guys. I'm so happy that you decided to spend some of your birthday here with me. I enjoy you all of the conversations and the time that we spend together. Thank you so much. Woohoo! Yes, don't worry, we won't tell the studio. Yeah, I just gotta make sure that I don't get dinged on my VOD for by Twitch, because I can only have 3 strikes before they will shut me down, and then we'll have to change our name again. I do have another Twitch account that we can move to if I somehow get banned, but I would rather not do that. So hopefully me singing happy birthday is changed enough, because I'm just a bad singer, that I won't get copywritten or dinged on that. I think it's kind of windy because I keep hearing this like vague sound, and I keep thinking that like maybe, you know, my partner is coming through the driveway, but I think really what it is the doors over there outside of my shop are banging open. So I have my main door to the shop all the way open, and I can hear and see all of the other doors to the house, and like the screen door doesn't quite close all the way. So I think that's what I'm hearing. You could add your edited material to your local TV station. You might have a community in there. I mean, maybe. I do, or my partner does, like work for the local TV station, and they do have an online, like, they have like shows that they show only online, so like they're exclusive. But I don't know that I could really hold my own next to the St. Louis Cardinals or the St. Louis Blues. Because those are the shows that are currently on it. I think my material is a little bit amateurish to compare to those two. So I don't know, maybe in a few years, you know, when I'm better at doing this. All right, so let's get back to the press, and we'll do another heat. So once again, we are going to be using the flat dies to kind of flatten out the piece and straighten it out, because it's starting to curve a little bit. So I'm going to turn on the record function on the camera. According to Wikipedia, in September 2015, a federal judge declared that Warner Chappell copyright claim to Happy Birthday was invalid, and the copyright registration only applied to a specific piano arrangement. Awesome. Well, that means that the rest of it must be, you know, public domain, and maybe I won't get copyright struck. Now in public domain. Excellent. That's exciting. All right. Let's do a heat. you can kind of see, those flat dies have kind of flattened out those edges. So now we've got these bumps and lumps on this side. So we're going to run this side through the flat dies, and then we're going to keep on moving. Don't rely on Twitch chat for specific legal counsel. Well, that makes sense. I would not expect you guys to be legal counsel or my lawyers. So yes, I won't hold you accountable if I get copyright struck. But yeah, I did actually hear about that legal ruling a little bit. So hopefully it works. So yeah, mahalo, what did you think of the new press? I hope you liked it because you funded it. It's a little bit on the loud side, and because when I change cameras, my sound setup like completely changes. I've been careful not to do any of my explanations while we are on that camera because I don't feel like you guys would be able to actually hear me very well. So I hope that we will be able to change that very shortly. I think there's another adapter that my partner says is what we need. The one that I used on Wednesday, or no, Friday, I think it was, that we were testing sound. The one that I was trying to use is the exact opposite of the one that he thinks that I need. So hopefully we can get a hold of the opposite adapter, and then we should be able to get that sound directly into the laptop. So we should be able to get some really nice sound quality once I get that figured out. And like I said, I'm sorry, I just wasn't able to get to the computer tech store because the storm. I dig it. That thing doesn't mess around. It doesn't. It really, really doesn't. It is a 20-ton press. So 20 tons of pressure is what you're experiencing, or that steel is experiencing. So if I were to put my hand under there, it would crush the bones in my hand so quickly. It would be very painful. So I am very careful to make sure that the tongs are the closest thing to the jaws on that machine. The bad part about drinking soda out here, especially it's a little bit on the warm side soda, is that it makes me have to burp. And I feel like, you know, I would rather not burp while I'm on the stream. So definitely gonna go back to water after today. All right, let's see. We have been going for about an hour and a half, so we have a whole other hour to get through. And so we will be able to get quite a bit of movement. I'm very excited about that. What we're trying to do right now is we are working on the reins on a set of universal tongs. My universal tongs they're really old, and they're one of the first things that I made when I was first starting blacksmithing. So they're really shoddy constructed. They don't work very well, and I've been complaining about them for months. So I am finally doing something with my complaint, and we are making a new set. So they're going to be designed very similar to these. These are a set of bolt tongs. These are specifically sized for 5/8 inch stock, which is our normal stock size that I use in this shop. And right now we are drawing out the reins. I do need to do 2 different sides. So today is side 1 and tomorrow will be side 2. We're going to draw that second side and the reins on that on Wednesday. And then on Friday, we're going to start drawing out the boss, like this round section on the bolt tongs. And we're also going to kind of isolate the material for that that section here, the boss, and then the jaws of the tongs. So that's going to be Friday's stream. Oh, I need to put these ones away and not those ones. Happy St. Patrick's Day, mahalo. Happy St. Patrick's Day. You guys will have to pinch me because I'm not wearing any green. Unless you consider this gray a green, but I think it looks more charcoal than green to me. But yeah, I'm not wearing any green, but happy St. Patrick's Day. I almost said Thanksgiving again. It is not Thanksgiving. Dark says, don't worry, we're not that sensitive. All right. So yeah, we are having so much fun with the new press. It's working beautifully. I'm really excited. Like I said, I was a little bit worried about it. So when I received the press in the mail, the bottom had clearly fallen out of the box. So I was a little bit worried that, it would have been jostled around and maybe we lost some of the hydraulic fluid. But it seems like it's working really well. And it doesn't seem like the being dropped has affected it at all. So I'm really, really happy. It's working beautifully. So I know that we lost our stream on Friday, and we were going to do the Frederick's Cross. We are still planning on doing the Frederick's Cross, but I've moved it to after our set of Tongs. So it won't be this week and it won't be next week because I'm currently planning for about 2 weeks on these Tongs. But it will be the week after. We'll spend 1 day doing our Frederick's Cross. And so I've got a few different videos that I've got planned for the YouTube, and it should be good. I'm pretty excited. Hope it wasn't too much fuss getting the jack swapped into the press. Absolutely not. It wasn't an issue at all. So what we did was we went to Harbor Freight, which is a discount tool store, and we got heavy duty ratchet straps. So these things were like 1.5 inches wide on the belts. And I put 4 of them, 1 here and 1 here, and then on the other side as well. And what we did is we used the ratchet straps to pull it down. And then once the ram had cleared the little circle where, to line up the press, on the press, we just pulled it out, put the new one in, and then we pumped up the new one so that when I released the ratchet straps, it didn't just jerk upwards. And it took me a grand total of 15 minutes to change. It was not a big deal at all. I think the major deal that I actually had to do was I had to replace my quick change on my air compressor. And the reason I had to do that is because when, I think what happened was, as I was kind of moving around the air compressors to get room back there to change the stuff, I think I bumped it, and the old quick change started leaking material, so I put a new one on there, and that one actually took me about 30 minutes to change, and that's why I was kind of starting a little late today. But overall, it's working beautifully. There's no leaks, and it's crushing the material very well. Well played. Yes. So I've done this a couple times before, and I knew exactly what I was doing. Because what the bottle jack that was previously on there, I actually replaced that guy from a hydraulic one that didn't have the pneumatic hoses to it. So originally it was hydraulic, then I changed it to pneumatic, and now I changed the pneumatic. So it was the third time I've changed that guy. Okay, we've got plenty of heat. So we're going to turn our piece 90 degrees, put it back under the flat dies, and we will be good to go. All right. So I am going to kind of flip my clips a little bit, just so that it's a little less effort to transfer my and now writing. There we go. And now I'm gonna flip my cameras. Forgot again, ad. We've got an ad going, and I didn't realize that we were that close to an ad. So I apologize if you guys didn't see the end of that heat. I will try to be a little bit more considerate in the future and make sure that everybody can get those heats, the full heat in. So I only do about a minute and a half of ads, and when I looked, we were at about a minute and 15 seconds, so I think I only lost about 15 seconds of that heat. So I think you saw most of it, hopefully. But yeah, I think the press is working so beautifully. I love it. We're gonna get lots and lots of work done. Once the ads are done, I will start talking again. All right, so for those last two heats, what we were doing is we were pressing the high sections that we created by using the round dies and creating those crinkle cut French fries. So now we have straight French fries, like the shoelace kind that you get at McDonald's, or like the local bars. So that is really good. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take them to the anvil, and I'm gonna do a little bit of finessing with what we've got done. And kind of straightening it out, making sure that we're not, creating extra stretching in weird places. And then we'll go back to the press. Tuning in now, sounds. Is that a compressor? Hi, Sandwich, welcome in. Yes, it is an air compressor. So we have our pneumatic press up and running. So that's what we've been making these tongs with. Right now we are drawing down the reins of these tongs, and we're using the press. So we don't have to use our arm to hammer that. all of that effort is being done by the press. So what happens is the air compressor, all of that compressed air goes into the bottle jack. It shoves down that ram, and we get all of that extra pressure in there. But I don't have a two-phase air compressor. It's a single-phase air compressor. So what that means is that it charges, it can only charge in one direction, right? So a two-phase air compressor could charge the air compressor, like the compressed air, at the same time as it's being used. But right now, I kind of have to charge the compressor between heats, if that makes sense. One of these days, I will buy a two-phase compressor, and then I won't have to wait as long. And I'll be able to do both of the sides of a set of tongs at the same time. But those are really, really expensive in the United States. A lot of those are several $1,000s. So it'll take me a few years before I can save my pennies for that. Yep. So right now it's actually doing really, really well. And I really like this press. It's not a burden on me at all. The fact that I'm able to talk to you guys while the air compressor charges and the steel heats, that's a big boon to me. So I don't really mind that it's a single phase motor. So yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera that I have pointed at the press onto the anvil so that we can do a couple heats at the anvil. Like I said, I really want to finesse these and make sure that we're stretching in all the right places and not stretching in the wrong places. So that's what I'm going to do real fast. We are going to move this guy over here. And move it down. There we go. All right, so we have plenty of heat for our next heat. And so here we go. Okay, and if we compare the two, we've grown quite a bit. So I'm pretty happy with that. We have a lot of thickness that I'd like to get rid of over here. But overall, I think that we're doing pretty well. So what we did there is we kind of finessed our material. We kind of straightened it out and made sure that any curvature that comes from the dies not being lined up completely, because they're kind of cockeyed a little bit. The bottom die is a little bit further towards the wall than the top die. So that causes the material to kind of curve. And so what we did at the anvil is straighten that all out and make sure that we are getting all of our movement in a forward direction and less downward direction. All right. So it's a lot less effort for me to use the press than it is for me to use the hammer. I can definitely feel that extra effort that I exerted by using the hammer on the anvil. All right, so I'm gonna set up the camera onto the press real fast, and we will actually, you know what? I'm gonna do one more heat at the anvil real fast. And then we'll move the camera again. Just to make sure that everything is all nice and straight and parallel. One more time. So it's starting to get a little bit on the warmer side. I think I'm all right though. It's just warm enough that I want to roll up my sleeves a little bit, but not enough that I want to take my sweatshirt off so I can so that I expose my shoulders. I don't know why, but like above my elbow, the skin there, it gets so cold so quickly. And so I want to make sure that I stay a little bit on the warmer side. Alrighty. One more heat at the anvil. Correcting the curves that we were gaining on the press. So that looks really nice and straight, especially if you look down the material. So maybe you guys might be able to see that looking down the material. There we go. You can see how much straighter that is than it was before. It was all nice and curved. So back in the fire it goes. Alrighty, so now I'm going to move the camera back to the press and we will continue running it. There we go. And I'm trying to make sure that that camera is a little bit so that you're like, it's definitely focused on the jaws of the press so that you're not like forced to just look down at my arm. Because, you know, when I'm using the crank that I have there to raise and lower the ram of the press, I want to make sure that you guys can actually see what's happening and not just like my arm. The material is much more, you know, much prettier looking than my armpit. So I'm thinking that we'll probably end up spending about 4 days drawing out these reins. And the reason for that is because since I'm in maybe 3 or 4 days, hopefully we can speed up the process a little bit on Wednesday, but I think that we had a slow start because the hydraulic fluid was kind of moving around in that press. It wasn't going as fast as it is going now. It kind of had it needed a chance to kind of warm up. So I think we're gonna have to take an extra day than I had originally planned to do these reins, at least, maybe 2. I'm kind of still getting used to how this this bottle jack functions in the press. So I'm a little bit slow. It's at the right angle. Excellent. I'm glad. I'm glad it is. I do my best to kind of with framing, but I'm not amazing at it yet. I'm learning as I go, as I stream. So yeah. Let's see. So I have a whole slew of shorts all queued up for this week. Today I released one about, what time is it now? About 3.5 hours ago, I released a short, so you guys can take a look at that one. Some of the shorts this week are pretty good. A lot of last week's shorts were like general advice, and it wasn't really like as much about blacksmithing, but this week most of the shorts are about blacksmithing, like directly, whether they be techniques or like tips and tricks that you can use. So those will be up on YouTube. They're going to release at 1 p.m. Eastern or United States time. So you guys can take a look at those, or, you know, yeah. So they're there. And like I said, I will be releasing the unboxing for that press, or for the bottle jack, tomorrow after I have a chance to insert my last shot. So look for that tomorrow. I know the feeling. I'm always trying to shove my phone somewhere where it will stand and still the angle is acceptable. Yeah. It's a lot easier now that I have actual camera tripods. So like I have these, you know, they're professional quality tripods. So this one's or like more of a photography one, and that one is actually more of a film, or like a film camera one, but they're both professional quality. And it's been a lot easier to get good framing and not have it move around on me since, or like, as opposed to the baby tripods I had when we were using the phone to stream. So I'm pretty happy with the setup that we've got, except for that sound. I'm still working on it, I promise. I will get better at it. Yeah, I will do my best. All right, we are going to do another heat, and we're going to do it on the press. So one of the best things about our press is that it forms natural tapers. I think I might start this over again after the air compressor is finished. It's kind of on the loud side. Are you almost up? The air compressor takes a little bit to charge, but it's all right. So yeah, for that heat, what we did was we started making another set of crinkles, like those crinkle cut fries. We flattened it out using the flat dies, and then we went over to the flat of the anvil, and we were able to straighten that out. So now we are putting those the divots back into our steel to kind of draw that down. And the beauty of using the press as for tapering is that there is a natural wedge shape that forms in our material. And the reason for that is because the longer the steel is outside of the forge, the more it starts cooling down, right? So the tip of the material is always going to be so much hotter than towards the end of the material, the end of the bar. So we are actually getting a lot more movement towards the tip than we are when we get towards the tongs. So we end up getting a natural wedge forming, and that's beautiful because that's exactly what we want. Eventually, we will definitely want to create more parallel sides for these tong reins. But for the moment, we definitely just want a nice wedge taper shape. And so the natural progression and that excess, or like the dissipation of the heat, works in our favor for that. So it is thrilling. So on another note, something that I've been thinking about doing, is what should we do for our subscriber badges? Right now, I kind of have the default subscriber badges, which are just like little, little 5-pointed stars. And I think that's a little bit boring, and I kind of want to put something or make them something a little bit more related to blacksmithing. And so I'm kind of noodling over what I want it to be. So a couple ideas that I had were if I took the little anvil emote that we made and maybe turned that different colors for the months. I also considered doing that with the hammer emoji that we've made. So those are a couple ideas that I had, but I don't know that I'm thrilled about the prospect of having like bright colors on my anvils and hammers. So I'm not sure what sort of thing that we might want for a subscriber badge. If you guys have any ideas, subscribers and maybe not subscribers, or something that you guys would like to see so that we can celebrate how long you guys have been subscribing, give me shoot me a message or let me know if you have any ideas. I have also considered doing more of like a touch mark, but I don't really have a touch mark yet. It's kind of one of those things. It's like your touch mark defines your work, and I just have never found one that I'm really satisfied with. So, if you guys have any ideas, let me know. Different types of hammers, maybe. Ooh, that's a good one. Different types of hammers and different types of tongs. So, we've got, the forging hammers, and there are framing hammers, like, the claw hammers, and then there's ball peen hammers, and there are cross peen hammers, and all kinds of different hammers. We could definitely do something like that. And then there's also different types of tongs. So maybe once we run out of hammers, we can try different sets of tongs. That might be interesting. There are several different types of tongs. We haven't really talked about the different types of tongs. Let's get a few out and I will tell you about them a little bit. I don't like that set. We'll go with that set. And we'll go with this set and this set. All right. So different types of tongs, right? So I want to use the tongs that we made in our stream. So we'll use these instead. So this set of tongs, this is a set of bolt tongs. And the reason they call it that is because if you are forging on a bolt, you've got the nice head here, but then you've got that long shaft of the bolt, and it can kind of slide in there, right? And these guys are kind of a wolf jaw tongs, right? So there's a tiny little bit of the neck, but not nearly as much of our neck. So these guys, these are called wolf jaw tongs. They've got a nice round bit to them, so that's really nice. And these are kind of like box jaw tongs. These are like one of the first sets of tongs that I made, like besides the universal ones I had. I made this set of box tongs, and that's because there are no neck to these tongs. So yeah, these are box tongs. And then these guys, we made these guys together, and I'm sure you guys remember, but these are called scrolling tongs, and they're for making lovely scrolls in your material, because they have these round jaws, and they're really nice too. And then these guys, these are actually horseshoe tongs, right? So they are designed to hold onto a horseshoe very securely. So they've got like inside, they kind of have this like little round section. So you're hanging on to them at two different points. And so it makes it a lot easier to create horseshoes. So those are several sets of tongs and different types of tongs that you guys can, you know, get a hold of for blacksmithing. So yeah, there are lots and lots of different types of tongs out there. We could totally do tongs. Let's see. We'll get rid of the box jaw. Ooh, and these guys are nail clippers. These guys are so rusted, I can't even open them, but these are nail clippers for a horse. So these are another set of tongs that you can use and you can get a hold of. Maybe use anvil as a base and then follow with hammer and tongs. Ooh, that would work. Your first month would be the anvil, and then I could do hammers and then tongs. That might work. Okay, let's get back to actually forging stuff. We got about 2 minutes. We should be good. Oh, there is a stink bug on my capture card.
Now there is not.
Almost like golf clubs, a set of tongs for every kind of work. Exactly. And there are also sets of tongs that are like custom per job. Like there are a lot of blacksmiths who have rows and rows and rows of tongs, and it's really because tongs are a really quick and easy tool that you could just make a bunch of it, and they'll be specific to the type of project that you're doing. So if you're using like railroad spikes to make like nails or something, you can actually create a specific set of tongs that hold a railroad spike really, really nice and tightly, because it's very, very important to make sure that you have a tight grip on your material so that it doesn't go bouncing around and moving inside of your tong. It's very important that you get a really good grip on your material. We got an ad starting soon, so I made it this time. Excellent. All right, I've got plenty of recorded material of the press. I should be able to get some good shots there. So I think for the rest of the stream, I'm probably not going to be recording the press. You'll be able to see it, but I won't be recording it to the card inside. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about, making custom tongs again, because that was a really great question, Mahalo, and I had the air compressor going while I was explaining it. Tongs are a really easy tool to make a whole bunch of and make custom tongs for each piece of, or like each job that you're doing. If you're using a railroad spike, it's a lot harder to hold a railroad spike with a set of box jaw tongs, or, even a set of wolf jaw tongs. Like a set of bolt tongs are all right to use for a railroad spike, but sometimes the head gets a little bit in the way of like the little round section. So making custom tongs is like a skill that a lot of blacksmiths do. When you go to a very old blacksmith shop, you'll see rows upon rows of tongs, and they're all because they're custom made for the job that the blacksmith had to do. So, you've got tongs for silverware, you got tongs for tapers, you got tongs for flats. You've got all kinds of different types of tongs that are custom made for different jobs. And it's a very typical thing to do, is create custom tongs. They are almost like golf clubs. Okay. So our ad is done. Yay. All right. I have to run. Got a train to catch. All right. Thanks for joining us, Dark. Have a good ride. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you on Wednesday, maybe? Goodbye, good night, and see you later. Later. All right. So I think for this next heat, we're going to continue working on the press, but I also think that we are going to spend a little time comparing our piece to the set of tongs that we're using kind of as a template, as well as the straight unmarred steel, and see kind of what progress we made and what progress we still have yet to complete. So that's going to be our next heat. So I'm kind of gonna, I think I'm gonna leave the camera over there, and we're probably gonna do the comparisons on the wide camera, if that's all right. All righty. Another heat. All right. So it looks like we've got a pretty decent amount of work done. We've definitely got between 3 and 4 inches of work on this taper, this increased length. So I'm actually really happy with that. Now, if I take this guy and I just stick it on the top of the anvil, I will use this other set of tongs to kind of compare kind of how much work we've got to do, right? So if we look at that, it's a little bit on the short side and it's a little bit more thick than we'd like it to be. So we can kind of see how much more that we've got to do. We're going to do several more heats. We're definitely going to focus on squishing this side because it looks like this side's a little bit fatter than this side. So yeah, that's what we got. So we've got plenty of length. Now we're looking, well, I mean, we've got some more length that we need to get, but we're definitely looking to focus on the width. This set of tongs is really nice to hang on to. It's got really nice handles. They're nice and round and thin. So I actually like hanging on to these. They feel really nice. So we want this to be a lot thinner than it currently is. So 2 phases for compressor refer to electrical supply. I think you have a 2 times 120 volt over there. There are in the 2 phases or 180 degrees out of phase. I mean, that might be the case. I'm not entirely sure. It could be. And welcome in, Bluesy. I'm glad that you've come to join us. So we are currently working on our set of tongs on the press. So it's a brand new bottle jack and it's been working beautifully. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I bought this guy probably How long ago did I buy it? I had to have at least bought it 8 years ago to power the press. So it's a little bit on the beefy side. But it's on a 170 volt. I can actually change the cord to a 240. And I do have a plug for that over there, but I haven't done it yet. So we'll see. We might at some point do that. I'm not entirely sure how much better the press would run, or like the air compressor would run on that higher amount of voltage, but it is a convertible. I could take the regular 170 off and put a 240 in. Usually 120 degrees out of phase, 2-phase and a ground. If you put them in parallel, I think. We have 3, 2, 30 volt and 100, okay. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. What I do know is that I don't know. What I do know is that it actually runs the air compressor relatively well, and I'm pretty happy with it for the moment. But it does struggle a little bit over time, and it does have to recharge after every use of the press. I know for a fact that the bigger, heavier duty ones don't have to charge nearly as long or as often. Because when I went to school, they had an air compressor that supplied air to the entire shop, and there would be people who were using it was supplying a sandblaster, and it was supplying a plasma cutter and like several other tools. And I know for a fact that we were able to run both the sandblaster and the plasma cutter at the same time on the same air tank. So that one was a big heavy duty one, but when I looked into how much that would have cost, it would have cost a couple $1,000s, and that's just not something that I had available at the time. What was that? Maybe. I'm talking about the power it can run the movie. I know, but don't trust Twitch chat for electrical advice. Exactly. But yeah, they're definitely not cheap. So this is what I could afford at the time, and so that's what I'm using. So it kind of, the way it kind of works though is that the air compressor takes about as long as it takes to reheat my metal in the forge. So it works out really well. I can continuously work on a single piece of steel over and over, and it recharges while I'm heating the steel. So it works really well. It's just, if I had a bigger, better one, I would be able to work multiple pieces of steel at the same time. So it's kind of, you know, you give and take a little bit. But I enjoy being able to talk with you guys in between heats. So it works out for me, I feel like. I'm not an electrician, I'm a farmer, and I can do things. If I do them wrong, stuff breaks. Exactly. So when I was doing my 270 outlet, I had an electrician do it, but my 120 or like my 170s in the house for my bathroom, I wired those myself. I do have a little bit of a background in wiring a bit, but mostly household stuff and like stage lighting. So I'm not amazingly like apt with the heavier duty pieces of equipment. I do know like basic stuff, like in parallel and in sequence, like wiring and stuff. But you know, when I'm going for like larger voltage and amps, I definitely want to get a certified electrician to do that for me. And so I had one put into the shop at the same time that we redid the breaker boxes, because originally we actually had what are they, circuit breakers, as opposed to like the flip switches. We actually had like the little glass things that break, and that was unacceptable. It was a hazard, and so we changed them, and the house has worked so much better ever since. I am a mechanic. Fuses. Yes, fuses. That's exactly what I mean when I say the little glass ones. It was actually fuses. And so in order to get back up to code, we had the entire box changed. There are probably a few areas of the house that we could probably rewire, but that is a lot more effort than changing just the fuse box. I think that we are modern enough not to have any knob and tube, but we do have some older wiring that we need to watch occasionally to make sure that it doesn't melt. You need breakers, not fuses. Yep, we have breakers now. We did have that changed, and we had to have that changed because we were also on a septic tank at one point. And so when we changed the septic tank, it turned out that you needed to have a grinder to hook up to the city water and sewer. And so the grinder actually shoves the water through the sewer because we don't have, or like our sewer is actually just barely below ground. So it was a big old deal, and we are still trying to make sure make sure that all of that is taken care of. All right, let's do another heat real fast. So Bluesy says, what barely below ground? So in winter you have no sewer. So that's why we have the grinder. So what we have is like, there's no grade in our sewer, so it doesn't slant down to move the water. So we actually have like a grinder that chops up all of the like solids and stuff and shoves all of the water down into the sewer pipes. So because they're barely under the surface. the amount of water that goes through them kind of has a tendency to keep everything flowing because we have a lot of neighbors, and there's actually a business over on this side, so everything actually does end up moving. It's kind of like when you leave your water going in the wintertime when you go on vacation so that it doesn't freeze your pipes. And there are occasions where the pipes do freeze. So yeah, occasionally the pipes do freeze. I've never actually had it where it was leaking though. So yeah, we just have, there's a lot of water flowing through the sewers that we have. And yeah, we still get the sewers are still usable over the winter time. Like I said, it's kind of when you are leaving your tap on a drip when you go out of town in the wintertime to make sure that your pipes don't freeze. That's kind of how it works. If there's any movement at all in the pipes, it won't, or like the moving water, it has a lot of trouble freezing. So I think we're gonna do a few more heats, and then I will probably rate us off. I do want to take a look at the press, see if I can't make it run a little bit faster. I mean, it has definitely speeded up or sped up from the first few uses of it. Like I said, I think the hydraulic fluid is kind of moving through the system and it's making it function a lot easier. But it would be nice to kind of make sure that everything is solid and it's going to function correctly. And I have a couple other things that I need to take care of today. So I think we're going to do a few more heats and then I will raid off. I know, but here it happens. Ooh. You guys have frozen sewers, Bluesy? That would stink. I don't think I could handle that. It was unpleasant when we had, you know, the septic tank, because we had to be really, really careful when it rained that it didn't overflow the septic tank and cause it to spill over. Not sewers. Oh, okay. So yeah, a lot of like country areas, they still have septic tanks, farming communities and whatnot, and because there isn't enough neighbors to have a full-on sewer. So this area was very much like that, but they brought in a sewers when they put the business up the road. So we were able to hook onto it as an option. So it was really nice. Just water pipes, and our sewers are deep, and I am a farmer, so I'm used to poop. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, shoveling poo is a thing that farmers have to do frequently. And I mean, it makes good fertilizer, so, you know. So yeah, we're getting a pretty decent amount of work in on this piece, and I'm pretty happy with it. True. All right. Let's do another heat real fast. over here a little bit before I put it back in the... So we've kind of straightened it from that curve that we had before. So yeah, it's working pretty well. I'm pretty thrilled. I am getting a little bit tired though. Not from having the hammer, but because I've been out in the shop for quite some time now. I came out here about an hour early today, getting a few things ready and making sure the press worked and everything. So I've been out here for quite a while at this point. So I think we're gonna do 1 or 2 more heats. Is there anybody specifically that you guys would like to raid off to when we are done today? A lot of times Johnson is on. I'm not entirely sure who is on right now. Sometimes he's on a little bit more early and he gets off around this time. So sometimes he's not always on. A lot of times Valencia is on around this time. So if you guys have any suggestions for who to raid, let me know. John is on. Excellent. We'll probably raid John. Because I think that, you know, keeping on with metal is I like to do that a lot. So we'll probably raid off to John in a couple different heats. I need a little bit more time to get my steel up to heat. So we'll probably end up waiting until after this commercial break, which is going to be in about 1.5 minutes. And so after that, I'll do 1 or 2 more heats and then we'll raid off. I greatly appreciate you guys joining me. It's been a blast playing with the new press and talking with you guys, starting a brand new project. But yeah, we will be able to, we will do the Frederick's Cross that I was planning on doing on Friday, and we weren't able to do it because my internet was being stupid. We will do that after we finish our next Tong project. And I have a video planned for that guy, and I'm looking forward to it. So we'll definitely get it done, but we're gonna flip the projects a little bit. So we'll do the Tongs first. I think it's gonna take us about 2 weeks to get through these Tongs. It might take a little bit longer, but if it does, we'll take a break and do the Friedrich's Cross first. We should be able to get it done in the 2 weeks that I have allotted though. All right. A little bit further on that heat, I think that the gas is starting to freeze up a little bit. It's starting to, you know, not want to pump out as much gas. So the forge is a little bit on the cooler side. So like I said, I think we'll get 2 more heats out of it before it needs to get unthawed. So yeah, that's another thing that I have to take into consideration. I am gonna here because I think I've got a good amount of material that we're gonna do, and then I'm gonna wait on this ad before I start my next heat. Let's see. So a press is a relatively cheap tool in the grand scheme. I think I paid about $300 initially for this press. The frame was about $200, and then the bottle jack was about $100. It really helps when you have a bum shoulder or a bum elbow. It works absolutely beautifully. This one I purchased at Harbor Freight, and all of the material was already cut and drilled out for me. This one has an adjustable bottom bar. I've got these lovely bars down here that I can take out and stick them in subsequently lower holes. So it's very adjustable and relatively inexpensive. This is something that you can put together on your own with purchasing, I-beams on your own or C-beams. But you can also, like I said, purchase it at some of the tool locations around you. More specialty stores, but, I think it's kind of, originally, I think it was a car tool. It is a relatively simple tool, a press. It is. And I mean, you don't have to have the air compressor to function, or for it to function either, because it is a hydraulic press. So it's got this guy right here, and you can use the little bar that it comes with and jack it up and down with the little bar by hand. So that takes a lot less, or that takes more effort, and it's a little bit on the slower side. The air is better overall, but, it's still an option for you. And I mean, you can upgrade it as you go. Like I said, if you, have a bum shoulder or a bum elbow, it really saves a lot of energy and a lot of effort. So I really like my press. Can probably scrounge Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace to get one also. Yes. Any garage equipment store has it. Exactly. Yeah. They are actually, this one was in the car section, and basically it's there so that you can pop ball bearings out of wheels for like tractor trailers and things like that. So they're really good tools to have. I'm really grateful that I have it. It was really what allowed me to come back out here before I, had enough stamina to get back out and use the hand hammer. So it really helped me in the beginning. And, if you want to put a little bit of extra dollar into blacksmithing, that's one of the items that, you should consider, I think. And if you do get it from like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, you can really, you can get a pretty good deal on it. All right, we are done with our ad. I have one that's electric, but hey, it is what it is. I use it for my tractors, and it works using an electric hydraulic pump. That makes sense. Like, I know that there are, like, those are really, really nice. They function a lot faster than this guy does. This is like the cheapo version of it. I know that there are, like, a lot of knife makers that I know have really, really nice presses that you can get in knife shops. And I imagine that, your press is very similar to that, Bluesy. But probably more geared towards, your tractors. So, you can find them used out there. They're around. Okay, let's do another heat. streaming for today. Do a search online for soda and other beverages and the risk of kidney stones. But don't take medical advice from Twitch chat. Yes, I am totally and completely aware of soda and kidney stones. I always try and drink lots and lots of water so that I don't get the kidney stones from the soda. I am very aware of the kidney stones. I got some, or like when I first started blacksmithing, I did not drink nearly enough water in the summer, or like one summer, and I was blacksmithing every single day all summer in the 120 heat in my shop. And by August, I had a couple of kidney stones. That was an horrendous pain. It was awful, and I never want to get them again. And so I make sure that I drink lots and lots of water, and I limit my soda. The only reason I have soda today is because I didn't want to refill my cup, because my water purifier takes a little bit longer, and I wanted to make sure that I was here watching my forge and the air compressor. I didn't want to leave them alone because this is the first time I've used this bottle jack. I wanted to make sure that it was safe and it wasn't going to cause any issues. So yes, I am super aware of kidney stones, and I make sure that I drink lots of water. Thumbs up. Thanks for streaming today. Yeah, thanks for joining me. I think I'm going to do one more heat when this guy heats up, and then we will raid off, and we'll probably raid off to Johnson. And then we can continue the metal fun. One more heat, exactly. One more heat. Bluesy, your press is 32 tons. That's awesome. I've seen a couple 40 pounds and 50 pound ones, but this guy is a 20 ton. So yeah, that's what I've got at the moment. Eventually, when I get, rich and famous from, Twitch and YouTube, I will upgrade. But for the moment, this is beautiful. All right, and I think I'm going to take this last heat on the flat dies, or like the flat side of the dies, to kind of straighten everything out and make sure that we're nice and ready for Wednesday, so that we can use this piece to compare to our unmarred piece that we're going to start on Wednesday. So I am very excited about that. Ray will get a power hammer someday. I will get a power hammer someday. However, I need a new building. We have we are currently saving up for a larger building, but it's kind of one of those long-term investments, if that makes sense. So eventually we'll get a new building, and when we do, we'll have a pad poured for a power hammer, and we'll get one. I will get one eventually. It is, and a Harbor Freight press works. Yeah, they do. All right, one more heat, guys. One more heat. joining me. I have had a blast. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I will be back on Wednesday. All right. Have a lovely St. Patty's Day. Try not to get too drunk.